Today is a Friday, the 13th of September. It's currently almost 11 o'clock. It's kind of an overcast. Out of, I would say out of the U.S.
I'm not an immigrant. I'm just here for the study. So I'm an international student.
See how this goes, and yeah. So
Do you have some questions prepared, or what do you want to talk about?
we can do whatever. I don't have any questions prepared.
Okay, what's the topic you wanna?
What's the topic?
Yeah. What's the topic of? I guess this podcast you're making a series, right?
Yeah, let's do something business related, like entrepreneurship or something.
Okay, so I have some experience with that, not too much because, as you can see, I'm not a very successful entrepreneur, but I have a bit of experience with that, and I really like it. To be honest, it's a very nice job, if you can say it that way. It's not really a job, a normal job, but it's very interesting. It's like a complete line of challenges that you can and you need to overcome, and that's the process of particularly being an entrepreneur. Now, my experience, like I said, is not very broad, but I did some if you know about agencies, marketing agencies, stuff like that, Imagazzi, and people like him, they're promoting this model of business where you basically get a client online and you have a team, a system in behind that's making all the stuff for you, and you're keeping the profit in between. Like basically being an entrepreneur, a manager that manages a team and delivers for clients, but most importantly you have to deliver the results for them. So I tried to do that. I started basically as a video editor, if you know that. I started to edit shorts, were very popular back in Alex Hormozzi, if you know him. He was basically in this niche, in the business niche. He was basically the man that started all these, let's say, short crises, because he was the first one that did it, and after that it blew up. Like on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, all the other platforms, he was the one that would pop out with some short videos where he basically gave advices on how to do money, business stuff, and sales related content. And after that I saw that, and I had some experience with dating, because I wanted to be a YouTuber when I was smaller, and I have a little experience with that before I started. But as you may think, it wasn't that easier. I had a couple of moments where I was 15, 16 years old, and I had to learn, I had to do the hard things. And after a while, I did land my first client, which I was basically doing like a freelance stuff back then. Wasn't very profitable at the start, but it was something for me. Like I always wanted to do some money, so to be independent, to not have to ask my parents or other people. I wanted to have my own money. First, I wanted to have money so I can invest in games, which was really silly, but back then I didn't really understand how that works. And yeah, that's how I started. And we evolved, tried to switch from being myself employed to my own business, if I can say that, because it wasn't really a business. I saw other people doing it, I wanted to do it. It worked for a while, but in the end I had to choose school over business, because if I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't have been here today at the college. So I hope I did a great choice. I'm just gonna tell me if I did a great choice or not. But I did it because I wanted to, and I'm really keen on seeing how this opportunity is going to be at college. I'm looking to meet more people, evolve, and also gather more knowledge from other people that are very successful or more successful than me, because I think that's very important, to always be around people that know more than you, because that way you can ask them for help, you can ask them for guidance, and maybe you can even find a mentor for yourself. That's kind of my story where I'm today. But like I said, it's basically on a small post, but I'm constantly learning. That's something that I can do whenever I'm constantly learning, and I really like this environment and this niche.
And so I think what's good for an entrepreneur is an entrepreneur always, it's like with a student as well. You're kind of like a sponge, and so you wanna absorb material, because it's the same thing with an education. You wanna an education is something you can always get, and it'll never be taken away from you. It's the same thing with if you're a black belt or an Eagle Scout or whatever. It's one of those things that once you earn it, it can't be revoked. So I think I would say entrepreneurs do that a lot, but also I would say that, but along with, doing, whether it be work experience with working with, if you're into, digital marketing or product management or, doing clothing brands or whatever. It's getting the foot in the door of going, hey, this is a person who, has a $32 million company. Would it be possible for me to intern with, the CEO or the founder or whatever to get more experience and to kind of learn firsthand from a successful person what it can learn from different people who've, taken, different paths than most people would expect an entrepreneur. You can be, a college dropout or whatever, and then, have, have a $250,000 business doing, telecommunications or whatever, entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you say because you can learn from books, you can learn from other people online, creators, stuff like that, but nothing I think compares to learning inside, learning near your mentor, seeing how things actually work, because that way you are in there, you're connected to the process, you can see other stuff, see what happens, and basically you're also doing it at the same time. You're a person that can watch you, tell you if you're making mistakes, where you can improve, and I think that's most important. I think if you want to have a successful business or a successful entrepreneur journey overall, I think you should start first working near a person that is very successful in the domain that you want to be better than them. I think that should be the journey that people should take if they want to be a successful entrepreneur. Because if you analyze people in general, very successful entrepreneurs, very successful businessmen that are millions of dollars per year, billions, they all started from somewhere. They all had someone that they can learn from and someone that could give them feedback on their mistakes and where they can improve.
I would say a lot of it is personal growth, understanding where you can grow as a person, regardless of if it's with a company or if it's as a person. Understanding that entrepreneurs like to try, even if it means sometimes that they're going to fall down on their face or whatever and go, yeah, that didn't really work and I should have done that.
I really think that's the fun part of being an entrepreneur, failing, and after that realizing what mistakes you did. I think that's where growth becomes real. That's where growth becomes something. You can see it, and after many trials, it's going to be a very, very good system that you can use so you can evolve, whether it's in business or in life. We all do mistakes, but people that are very successful now, they did more mistakes than me or you did, because the number of mistakes you do, I think it's very relevant to the number of successes that you have. I think that's very important, and sometimes maybe you're afraid of taking a step forward because you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know if you're going to fail or you're going to succeed. But if you don't move, something is going to be for sure. You're not going to go neither forward neither backwards. You're going to stay on the same spot. So that's not a choice, I think. You either go forward, either go back, but you have to move. So I think in the final, you're always going to succeed if you have this approach to all of the problems, because yes, you go 10 steps backwards, but one move could bring you very, very in front. So it's going to change everything for you. So yeah, failing and succeeding is it's almost the same thing, I think.
I would say that, but in addition, as an entrepreneur and also as a person, you have to adapt to it, because life is gonna throw hurdles and obstacles and boundaries, and so you have to go, what's the way that I can overcome this, or use it to my advantage to make me stronger, because a lot of people, what they don't do, especially boys or whatever, is they get all inside their head and they go, yeah, I don't really want to work out, or I don't want to go to approach the girl or whatever, and then they do the what if approach and they go, what if she rejects me, what if this or that, and it's the matter of diving off the deep end and seeing what happens as opposed to just staying in shallow water where you're comfortable, regardless of what you think is your comfort zone, and just stepping out and having a urge or having a drive to just do something different than what you're willing to be comfortable with.
I think that's very, very important. I'm glad you say that, because about the comfort zone, you can always expand that, and that's the beautiful thing about it. It's not the same one for, let's say, in 1 year from now. If you do the right things, if you take the risks, it's going to be much bigger, and you're going to be comfortable with many actions that right now you are not. So let's say you have a business presentation and it's your first time doing that, you're getting nervous, but after that one, after the second one, after the third one, after the fourth one, it's going to be normal for you. So your comfort zone is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's where growth, I think, comes, because by doing stuff that right now you don't like, or that's making you uncomfortable in some ways, if you do them right now when you're afraid of them, let's say, in 1 month, in 1 year, be very comfortable, going to have the results that you wanted. And I think that's very important. So taking risks, I think it's very important, but also when you take risks, you need to think about it very, very well before that. So you must make sure that it's going to worth it, it's going to take you in the direction that you want to get.
I would say that as well, but I would also say that for like if you want to do a business or something, it's gonna people expect a business or a girlfriend or whatever to be super simple, and what they don't understand is that most of the time you have to have failure, you have to have rejection. A lot of it is 4 or 5 companies, 4 or 5 of your original ideas for a company or whatever don't work, or you don't have enough funding or whatever. In the case of a girlfriend or whatever, the girl rejects you, or a 6-year relationship breaks up or whatever. It's just you have to understand that it's okay to have rejection and to have failure, because it'll help you to become a better person, as to just looking at failure of a company or failure of rejection from a girl or a company and looking at it as a negative and going, well, that didn't help me become stronger, or it didn't help me become a better person, and just brushing it off and being very, very negative about it, and not seeing the positive of what trying multiple times will do.
I kind of agree with what you say, but it's alright to have failures, but I think it's most important when you have failures to also analyze them, see what you did wrong, what went wrong, and also improve. Because if you keep having failures after failure after failure, and you're not doing anything different, you're maintaining the same strategy, it may be the strategy is wrong. So I think you also need to evolve. You need to do things that you didn't do before. So try new strategies, try new stuff, and see how that works. Because I think after failure, you have to analyze when you could improve, and after improve and see the results. So I think that's the process of, let's say, I had myself some experience with this when I had to have some sales calls with clients that have much more money than I experienced, and they had been in this business for multiple years, multiple decades maybe. And at first I wasn't really comfortable being there, being live with them on a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet meeting. And what made me get better was recording my own meetings, and after the meeting, if it was a failure or if it was a success, I would analyze, I would see what I did and what my actions were to lead to that eventual success or failures. So I think it's very important to give yourself feedback after everything you do, especially if it's like very important for you, like a very important action. You need to have some kind of feedback, either from you or either from a mentor that you have, a co-worker. And I think that's where growth it really is, because after realizing your mistakes or the people or the things that you did well that lead to that, like I said, eventual success or failure, I think that's very important, so you can either repeat them or either improve them.
And I think it's also fair to say that for not just an individual focus, but also if you see somebody not doing well in a class or whatever, and you keep in mind one person's learning strategy and test taking strategy may be different from yours, but at the same time, if you're willing to help somebody and go out and see about making them successful as well. Meaning, if it's a classmate or whatever who doesn't understand a question or whatever, kind of being a mentor a little bit and breaking it down and going, so you don't understand the question, so let me kind of provide you with some clarification as to kind of where you're getting stuck a little bit and where you're where you can the obstacle that is kind of in your way, and where you what will kind of helping to clarify where the confusion is. I mean, same thing with you if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend. You have to it has to be about, as uncomfortable as it's gonna sound, it has to be about pushing both you and the other person out of their comfort zone a little bit. Even if the person is kind of relentless and unwilling at first, it is going out of your comfort zone and wanting to see the other person or whatever kind of do well, but also the same thing where they want to see you do well and be successful with whether it's school or life or business or just anything in general.
Yeah, so it's nice to learn, it's nice to help other people that you have, but I think most importantly, when you want to teach somebody else, you need to be in the position that you have already tried what you're trying to teach, you have already tested, and it worked for you. Because I see or I hear many people giving advices, helping others, but they in the first phase they didn't do it themselves. They only heard about it or read about it, and it's very different when you read about an information, you document on that specific information, but it's very different when you apply, because most of the time it's going to be very different from what you've been expecting to have. So I think it's very important before teaching somebody or giving an advice to someone, it's very important that you in the first place you already did that, you have experience, and you're confident that your advices, your instructions, let's say that 100% help the other person and not doing them something I say wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point, but along with that, it's as much as I want to call it a selfish point, I think, like, for instance, if you're not good with science, if you're in a bio class or a math class, and then you go up to the student who's doing, let's say you have a C or an F or whatever in the class, and you go up to a student who is an A student and you ask them, and you go, can you kind of give me either some pointers or some advice as to how what you did worked, but also how I can kind of take what you've done and kind of apply it and become successful in a class or whatever it might be that you're struggling in. 16 or 17.
Right now, the online is filled with people that showcase that lifestyle. So it's really easy for people to really want that. But what I've learned myself on these past years that I've been trying to pursue my entrepreneurship dream was that most of the stuff that they show on social media, for example, is just there to make you like them more, to make you buy their products. Now, this, for instance, is not usually a bad thing if you see the end point and that's you buying their mentorship, their product, whatever, so they can help you. But in the first place, that's kind of a sales funnel that you as a viewer, you're getting through it. So if you're just staying on that, or if you're just consumption, you're just viewing the content, and you're not creating anything else, you're not giving value back to the people, you're just watching motivational content, sales content, whatever you're interested in, and you're not taking the next step, I think it's a bad thing to do. And also at the same time having that in mind, the dream, the results, because people that got there, most of them got there because they deserve, got there because they have tons of years of experience, of working hard, of doing hard stuff that got them out of their comfort zone and got them to evolve and be in the phase that they are now, in the phase that they have, like you said, the money, the expensive things. Now, I heard someone, a person that that it's great to have goals, but most of the time the goals that you have should be something that you can reach. Maybe you've heard of the strategy that says that you should have your goals 10 times bigger than you can achieve them, because that's going to help you. Now, this person that I quote earlier said that it's not very good to do that, especially when you're in the beginning, when you don't have a lot of value in a lot of knowledge that you can give out to people and that they can see value in it. So if you're just starting out, if you're, let's say, a beginner like I am, I think it's very important to have goals that are reachable, that you can reach, and goals that are going to help you build momentum, help you build more confidence in your skills, in your product, in your services, in whatever you want to give out to the people. And after that, the results are going to come. If you're doing a great job in the first place, you don't have to worry about making sales, about having success with your product or service. I think that's very important in the first place. Just focus on learning, focus on getting the knowledge, focus on becoming a valuable person that can help the society improve, or the people that are going to have access to their product, their services, their mentorship, whatever. So that's very important. You, in the first place, you need to be a capable person that can deliver what they promise. I think that's very important.
Subscription based.
So I have some experience with sales funnels, as I worked with a couple of clients that are very big, that had a strategy, and I could learn from them. So most of the time, the free content that we see, the free stuff, it's all part of the strategy. It's all part of their funnel, which at the end, funnels are meant to take people, normal viewers, and turn them into sales, which is not a bad thing at all. But most of the content that is free, it's only a small part, because take this. So if, let's say, content is really about attention, if you're not taking the people's attention, you won't be able to reach new audiences, you won't be able to satisfy the algorithms and stuff like that. So it's very important that for business creators, for people that are creating the content, it's very important so that they show what the audience wants. So as you mentioned earlier, many people, when they think about entrepreneurship, they desire a great life filled with a lot of luxury, a lot of benefits. So that's the thing that they are going to mostly show you in their videos, because by showing you that, you're going to watch them, you're going to watch more videos, you're going to become a fan of them, and who knows, at the end, a small percentage of those people will actually become buyers of their programs or their services, and from that small percentage, only an even smaller percentage have success with their products. Because you see a lot of trainers, which is online, that they have a bunch of students that are very successful, but they don't show you the process of students that didn't have success. And most of the time, it's not their fault, because they can teach you, they can give you guidance, they can give you all the stuff that you need to succeed, but it's up to you. If you don't want to put in the work and it's required, if you don't want to put the effort, take the risks, and do all the stuff that they tell you, because it's going to be painful, not in a physical way, but it's going to be hard to do, and you have to do it. If you don't do it, then anyone can give you as much value as you want, as much opportunities as you want, but finally it's up to you. So I think it's very important when you pursue this journey. So you either go 100% or you're out, because you're just gonna waste your time, you're just gonna be sad because you don't have the success that other people have. But success is about doing stuff that you don't like. If you're not right now in the place that you want to be, if you don't have the success that you want to be, that's because you don't do the things that are going to get you there. Those people that have success are doing things that me, you, or anyone who isn't there, they don't do it. So it's very easy to say that you can't do something, but it's very hard to do the things that are going to take you there, to that destination, to that dream that you have.
You think that most people feel as though it's a lot of, I don't want to put in the hard work, just give me the result, because I feel as though I'm entitled to the result or whatever.
So if you're asking any person if they would like to have the results without doing the work, 100% gonna say yes. Most of the people, say 99% of them, are going to say yes, and that's not a bad thing. Like, people are made in such a way that they want to get the results without doing the steps to get there. Now, what I want to stress on is that it's very hard, and like I said earlier, so my knowledge right now is very little. I'm talking about from my little experience that I have, but I'm willing to learn every day. And what I'm saying now is also applicable for me and for any other people that feels the same. So I think it's very important when you do something, either it's entrepreneurship or having a hobby, anything you want to do. I think it's very important to want to become the best, because if you don't want to become the best, then why are you doing it? You're probably not gonna have the success that you want to do. I heard when we were at the conference 2 weeks ago, there was a speaker, I forgot his name, but he said something very, very important that really stuck to me until now. So he said that he likes his domain very much, that every day he has something new to learn. And I think that's very important. If you like your domain, your job, your whatever you're doing, I think it's important to learn something new every day, evolve every day, because if you're not going to do it, you have competition. Others who want the thing more than you want are going to catch up you, are going to become better than you, are going to have the things that you want to have, because they are just better than you. They're just doing the work and they're pursuing their dream at 100%.
So would you kind of say that some people are just they're kind of 50, they're not going all the way for their aspirations or whatever, meaning they're kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong, diversifying and putting your toe into different interests is great, but I mean, at least from my perspective, I think a lot of people, want to try out different things and they don't want to be focused on one thing and getting good at one thing. They want to go put 25% effort into, a clothing brand, 25% effort into being a student, another 25% into being an entrepreneur, and then another 25% into social life, into dating, or to working out as well.
So life is made in such a way that you can't really go 100% in just one thing, logically. But what you said earlier, I don't think it's really a bad thing if you're doing for short term, if you're doing it to find the things that are making you, let's say, fulfill the things that you want to pursue after. Because maybe at the moment you don't know that things, you're not aware of the stuff that you really wanted to do, or the hobbies that you really like. So you have to test. You have to have kind of a period in which you only test, you doing a bunch of stuff, but don't expect for many results, because you're putting energy into many places so you can have a constant success. But after that period, I think it's very important to choose one or two things that you really want to do, really want to become the best in. Because I read a book on this. I had this issue that you were talking about earlier, and I read a book about it. It was by Greg McKeown. It was called The Way of the Essentialist or something like that, which is a very, very great book. Now he talks about the energy that we as people have. Based on a daily basis, we have around 100% energy to start with, but that energy is going to go in many directions usually. But if you want to have success, and if you want to evolve very fast and very efficient in one area of your life, you have to put more energy in that area and say no to other things. He says that many of the actions that we do on a daily basis are not actually taking us where we want to go. And I think it's very important to find those 10%, 20% of actions that really take you where you want to go. And I think after you find them, after you identify them, you have to go all in on them, because that's the only way. You can't go in many directions, because you won't have the growth that you want to have. Because like I said, energy is going to be spilled in many ways, and the growth won't be as fast as you would like to. But I think it's a difference from years to decades. I think that's what we're talking about, which is a really great difference to see. If you're doing something for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years at a very, very fast rate, you're putting in more energy there, your focus is mainly on that, because like I said, you can't be really 100% because you have to eat, sleep, and do other few essential tasks. I think if you do that, you're going to become a really great person. Because let me give you an example, like a very popular example. If you know Mark Zuckerberg, for sure you know him. He was a very great IT guy. He was very good at what he did. So based on the result, he had a lot of success with Facebook. But maybe you've noticed that on the personal level, he did not put as much energy as other people did. But right now, if you look at him, I've honestly seen an interview with him recently. He's doing jiu-jitsu. he's doing a lot of sports, he's taking care of himself, and business, I think, for him now is on the second place. So I think that's the journey that most people are not willing to do, are not willing to focus on a single thing until they become master of that thing. You don't have to become billionaire, you don't have to do the same thing as Mark did, but I think for a couple of years, your purpose, your goal should be to focus on the thing that is going to get you the result that you want, that is going to make you, let's say, fulfilled in one way.
Meaning you can kind of grow with them and learn together as opposed to just doing it by yourself.
You mentioned 3 stages, 3 types of people. I think it's very important to have each one of those people next to you. It's also good to have people that are basically at the same level that you are right now, because if one of you has a problem, for sure the other one is going to have some problem at his journey, so you can learn from that too. And it's also a spirit of competition, to be honest, which is very helpful. But when you learn other people a skill that you are doing, you're also going to learn it for yourself. That's a very great way of doing it. So you're doing 2 actions into one. So I think it's very, very good to have all 3 types of people near you. Most importantly, I would say, if it's not possible, have at least people that are where you want to be, so you can learn from them, you can speak with them, have discussions, and basically analyze their actions, because their actions have taken them to the place that they are right now. So if you want to get there too, I think more or less you should do similar actions that they are doing.
That was it. That better, the positive kind of group of people who have that growth mindset. Would you rather have the negative type of people that are just, they're not willing to step up to the bar, they're willing to, sit on the couch or whatever and, not do their schoolwork and just go party on the weekends, or just not be serious with what they want to do.
It's not really great to judge other people based on their actions. Now, maybe this won't apply to all of it, but I found it useful because, let's say, for the people that, as you said, are not looking into this competitive area, like they stay in their comfort zone and stuff like that, maybe those people have other desires than maybe me or you have. They're not looking, let's say, to be a very successful entrepreneur, to be the best in their domain. Maybe they're looking for peace, for comfort, for other things that are not necessarily bad. So I think it's very important to see things from other people's point of view before making, let's say, assumptions and stuff like that. But on the other way, yeah, you should have, like, let's say, a limit, because if you want to do, and if you want to have success, you really need to get rid of some activities that are not very helpful to you. Not let's say block them, but at least limit them. And of course, it's very important, I think it's very crucial to have also some friends near you, or people or partners or whatever, that are very competitive, are in the same mood you are, in the same mindset, because that's going to really help you become better. It's going to help you speed up the process faster. Maybe you know this quote or maybe not, but they say that the average of the 5 people that you have near you is that where you are going to reach, and how your habits are going to be, and what type of person are you going to become. So it's very important to have, I would say, the second group of people, but we should not believe that we are more better or more smart or whatever than other people that, let's say, they don't have the same desires, or they don't have the same dreams, or they want something else from their life besides money, success, and other stuff do. Now, of course, there are some bad actions that no one should do, some illegal stuff that we're not going to talk about. But if a person does not really want to be the best in their domain, I'm not sure if that should be seen as a bad thing, and I'm not sure that we should think we are better than them or stuff like that. I think it's just a matter of your desires, what you're looking for to get from this life, from this experience, and I think it depends from person to person.
I think that's a good answer, and this is kind of going to be a unique question in itself, but do you think that most people our age, let's say, the 18 age range, do you think that most people are they're kind of short gold focused, or do you think that do you think they just look in the moment, or do you think that people are long gold, meaning they look at the future and they look at what's ahead, meaning what they're going to do after college, getting a successful job or getting their master's or whatever?
From what I see, and especially I'm in the same age range as you mentioned, from what I see from people nearby and also from myself, I think it's better to have kind of a balance, because it's not always great to think only on what you're gonna do on the future and the stuff that you're going to do, because by doing that you're gonna lose the moment, you're gonna lose the present. You're not going to be like involved in the present stuff. You're just going to be thinking about what I'm gonna do after 4 years, what I'm gonna do after 5 years and stuff like that. So I think it's really intelligent to have balance between that, so you can experience the real life, the moment right now. And also it's very, very useful that you can prepare and predict what's going to happen in the next years, and you can some kind get prepared for that and make your life easier in the future by doing now some certain actions that are going to help you.
Would you kind of say that, at least, I know that we're in our, third week of school. Do you think it's, at least from my perspective, I think, look, I'm not saying that everybody has to be perfect and that everybody has to go out of their comfort zone and try the whole school and get involved in all of the clubs of school. But at least for me, I'm seeing what I like and kind of figuring it out and going, you know what? Why don't I just do something? Why don't I if I'm interested in something, why don't I explore it and see if I like it or not, as opposed to just regretting it after college and going, I should have done that, I should have tried this interest or that. I think as, college students, it's great to try new things, but I think some people, they're not willing to try new things. I think they're just kind of standing on the sidelines and going, well, I'm unsure of trying this or that, and the outcome or whatever.
Yeah, I think a great way is to be aware of the opportunities that are near you. You have to, when you hear something new, you want to get involved in something. I think it's very important that you take a moment to assess that, to think about its benefits, its disadvantages, and after that, take a decision. Now, it shouldn't be something that should take a long while, because it's like a decision of joining a club or something like that. It should not be very, very long. But I think you should take a moment to think about that, and as well take a moment and think if that's gonna help you get and go on the path that you want to go. I think it's very important, and like I said, you only have a limited amount of energy. You have to be very careful where you're going to put that energy, because it's either going to bring you some good things in the future, or it's going to drag you down. So it's very important to really do the stuff that you really want to do, and it's really important to know what's going to happen after that, to know the effects of that actions.
They're not fully aware of their actions, meaning they don't understand that their actions. They just look at it and they
After a couple of years, looking back at this podcast, looking back at the discussions we did, I'm pretty sure that you probably won't agree with many of the things that I said right now. And that's a great thing, because that means we've evolved, we have got new knowledge, and our points of view have changed. But I'm very interested in seeing that, and from now, from this point, like I said, I really want to apply the things that I'm preaching, to say like that. That means evolving and taking the risks and doing the stuff that are going to take me, you, or any other person on the path that they really want to go on.
Yeah, I would probably say that that's true, along with just as stupid as it's gonna sound, people just have to be willing to get out there and just chase after, as dumb as I want to call it, dumb shit, just chase after it and see what you like. Anyways, so that's gonna be a wrap for Friday. My guest was Seba. We met, I'd say about a few weeks ago at the Founders Club, and kind of hit it off, and I was like, you know what, let's kind of see how this goes. And so that's kind of where we're at the moment. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it up there, and we'll see what happens on the next one. But
thank you very much for inviting me, and hope to see you soon.
All right, we'll do. All right.